Okay, let's talk about Ruan Potts' UFC deal. He has signed a 6-fight contract. It's an exciting time for South African MMA to see that their former EFC Africa heavyweight champion has gone on to reach the heights that we want the EFC Africa to be producing. This is the reason for a company as the EFC Africa. We need to produce these superstars to not necessarily just hand them over to the UFC, but to put us on the map. And I think this is a smart, strategic move from UFC Africa just to allow Potts to go through and sign a 6-fight contract. He'll be fighting Sao Pelele, who is an Australian guy, and he's record 20-3, but he's got a record in the UFC of 2-1, so he's fairly inexperienced in terms of UFC fights. So this isn't a bad fight for Ruan Potts. This is a fight that he could win. Also, this is going to be a big fight. I think that if he gets the win, Potts can be looking onto some better opponents. Not that Sao Pelele is a bad fighter, because he's not at all. But I just think that Potts he has that pedigree, and I think that if Pelele's victories are mainly knockouts, so I think that if Potts takes this to the ground, he could win the fight. Ruan Potts is definitely. He's definitely up there, and this is the reason why you don't sign for the UFC if you're a bad fighter. So yeah, the heavyweight division needed some strengthening, and I'm sure Ruan Potts is the needed ingredient to this thing. UFC Fight Night 40. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen in May, and yeah, this is something that we all want to see. Ruan Potts taking it to him, and yeah. I can't wait for this fight personally, so we will see what happens, and maybe in the future, potentially a UFC heavyweight champion coming from South Africa, which would be absolutely great. So yeah, cheers guys, thanks for listening.